So earlier this week, I hit 100,000 subscribers, and that is just absurd. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. To put this in perspective, within the first year and a half, 2 years of my YouTube channel, I hit about 22,000 subscribers. And then every single year, from like 2014 to 2018, my goal for the whole year was to reach 50,000 subscribers. And at the end of 2017, 3 years after I've been making this my goal every single year, I hit 30,000. That was massive. And then all of a sudden, 2018, I go from 30,000 to 100,000, and now it's like 105,000. That is just crazy and has totally exceeded my expectations. I'm excited, I'm grateful, and I want to connect with you guys a little bit more. So I tweeted, put on my Instagram, and posted to the YouTube community tab to ask me whatever questions you guys want to ask me. The last time I did a Q&A was back in 2015, so it's been a while. My opinions changed, my demeanor has changed, and there's a whole lot of interesting information about myself to unpack. Like, are you an introvert or an extrovert? Probably an ambivert, which is like a combination between the two, which I know is a very boring answer. I like the idea of going out. I love getting ready, I love being in the car, but then when I arrive there and I'm in a social situation that is unfamiliar to me, I get very nervous, and sometimes I can end up making an ass out of myself, or sometimes I can end up just kind of being a little bit of a wallflower. So just the concept of going out to me sounds fun, but the action of doing it, Will you be getting any more Digimon tattoos? I don't think so. I mean, I've always wanted this one, and it was just the right timing to do with the Digimon Adventure Try video, and I think it made a funny punchline, I'm not sure. What are your thoughts on the Ducktales reboot? I adore the Ducktales reboot. If you could see, no, you can't see because I can't zoom the camera out far enough, but I have a bunch of Ducktales toys on the shelf. I adore the reboot. I think that it's really interesting when shows that have a legacy concept and a legacy idea get a reboot, even though we are in a reboot culture and a lot of things are being rebooted right now. I think it's really interesting to see how people interpret that world, how they play within the sandbox of the series and pull from all the different influences of the series. Like DuckTales combines elements from the comics, the video games, and the original cartoon from the 80s and makes a really great, unique product. Like, these are similar to the characters from earlier incarnations, but they really are creating their own unique interpretations of those characters, and they're doing it in a really emotionally resonant and exciting way. So I love the DuckTales reboot. If you could drink one type of energy drink for the rest of your life, what would it be? The last energy drink I had was probably when I was trying to get into competitive gaming in like 2008. I was at a Play-N Trade, which is a store that doesn't exist anymore, and I felt the need to get a Monster because I saw other people drinking them, and I've never liked them. What kind of music are you digging recently? I've been listening to a lot more podcasts recently. I actually had a moment where I realized I haven't tried to listen to anything new since the new Gorillaz album, and before that, I hadn't listened to anything new since the last Fleet Foxes album. Wow. But I've been listening to a lot of Tears for Fears when I do want to put on music, but right now I'm just in a totally, like, give me some music suggestions. Suggest anything. I really like any genre. Would you make another top 10 what the f Sonic moments? I think I'm in a place right now in my style where I don't think it makes sense to make another one right now. I mean, the focus of this channel has definitely gotten away from doing traditional reviews. Not that I'm doing something above reviewing, I'm just phrasing it and presenting it in a way that it doesn't just seem like a review, it seems like other stuff too. And I think going back to that might be a step backwards for my channel, and also I'm not doing a lot of top 10s, so it's not that necessarily I'm going to stop talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, just that kind of style of a video is really not what I'm doing anymore. That being said, if I'm still making YouTube videos in 5 years, I will 150% do another what the Sonic the Hedgehog moments for the 10th anniversary of the original. What powers did you attain when your beard manifested? I ended up spending a lot of money on beard oil, beard shampoo, and beard conditioner. Somebody else asked me, what is the key to having a nice beard? I haven't totally figured it out yet. I still have this little fuzzy thing on my face, but definitely make sure it's clean and make sure your skin underneath your beard is hydrated. And so I discovered that I need to spend money on more things. Have you ever been called too handsome to talk about crappy internet games and anime? You guys are just too silly. I love the tone that is being set for this video. Let's keep up this like little fun attitude. Have you had any recent problems with your cancer? And does it have any chance of coming back? Well, I mean, I guess in a way I have a more of a chance of developing cancer. But once you get to the 2-year mark of being clean for my particular kind, your chances of getting it again goes like down significantly. And then once you get to the 5-year mark, it goes down significantly again. Thanks for the question. What's your favorite obscure game series, you hipster? I don't have an obscure series that I like, but my favorite obscure game is for the NES. It's called Kickle Cubicle, and it's adorable. Not to be crude or anything, but this is something you usually talk amongst friends. But how old were you when you lost your virginity? Also, have you had any supernatural experiences? Well, the funny thing about that is both of those questions have the same answer. Would you ever consider releasing the Patreon reviews to the public? Yes, I absolutely would consider that. Maybe like halfway through 2019, I'll make a video that's like 2018 Patreon exclusive videos, just because I do want to give it a lot of time to be Patreon exclusive. And also, I've received a couple of comments about my Patreon exclusive videos and what the ideas behind that is and how I'm withholding content from my regular audience. No, I am not withholding content from my audience. I am creating content specifically for Patreon. The things I'm talking about on Patreon are things that I would never make a video about if I didn't have the Patreon. They're just extra things that I may have a couple of minutes of content to talk about it, because it's nothing that's ever going to be worth an entire video. If there's ever something that I really want to talk about and I really want you guys to hear what I have to say, or I want to introduce something to you, that is never going to go on my Patreon. That will go on the main YouTube channel. But there's little extra small tidbits kind of things that I do like to talk about, and that's when I'll post something to Patreon. Do you ever get overwhelmed at how much media you feel like you have to keep up with? No, when I was trying to do a lot of more modern reviews, I did feel really overwhelmed because I was trying to make sure that my voice was relevant to the modern conversation. So I was trying to read a lot of gaming news. I was trying to play every single main title Nintendo released, and it was a lot. But now I'm not really doing a lot of newer things, and sometimes I'll post something when it's a little bit more relevant than another different time, but I'm not really trying to pay attention to every single new thing and new news and games that try to come out anymore. Is the percent of your social media following thirsting after you uncomfortable to you or Ari? No. There's not a lot of people that send me explicit things, and then the people who do post kind of flirtatious things aren't really harassing me. They'll just post something that would make me feel uncomfortable in public, but they're not sitting here trying to get into my Twitter DMs or my Instagram DMs, sending me things over and over again and wondering why I'm not responding. They're just posting a comment to a YouTube video, so no, not really. Why do you have a girlfriend? 'Cause she's nice. Why are you so cute? I told you so. What advice do you have for smaller content creators when it comes to collaborations? Collaborations is a great way to understand how other people create videos. YouTube can definitely be a sort of, you know, self-obsessed kind of thing where you only really understand your own process. And collaborating can be a great way to understand how other people choose to work, and it can be a great way to bounce creative ideas back and forth. But as for using collaborations as a way to grow your channel, it's just not the case. Getting a shout out, getting posted to the trending page of YouTube, these things can be exciting and can bring a few new people into your channel, but those people don't really stick around usually. I mean, somebody might go check out a video or two of yours, but they're not gonna sit there subscribing and become loyal viewers just from a shout out or a collaboration. When I was on the trending page of YouTube, I was already kind of on the swing for my view counts and all of that. Then I got posted to the trending page, and for 2 days, I was getting a ton of views. But after those 2 days, I went straight back to the same amount of growth I was getting before. So doing a collaboration should never be something you want to do in order to grow yourself, but it should definitely be something you do to open your eyes to the creative process and the creative ideas of other people. What's something that everyone in real life knows about you that people on the internet have no clue about? I did forensics speech and debate for 3 years, and I was the state champion in after dinner speaking, or if you're on the West Coast, speech to entertain. I saw you wearing what looked like a Lucky Goat coffee shirt in one of your episodes. Are you from, or did you live in Tallahassee at some point? Yes, I went to community college in Tallahassee. How do you balance school and YouTube? It seems crazy thinking about all the research your videos take. I take breaks when I'm feeling overwhelmed. I mean, you'll see sometimes I'll post 3 videos 3 weeks in a row, and then I won't post for 1 or 2 weeks. That's totally necessary. Also, making sure that I'm doing work ahead of time for videos that take a lot longer for me to consume the content. I think the biggest setback for me for videos is consuming the content, not writing or researching or editing. I like doing that. But when I'm forced to play a game that I'm only playing because I want to do a video on it, it's hard for me to want to sit down and be entertained by that or watching something. So I always make sure to give me plenty of time to consume content. So I make sure that it's still fun, and I make sure that it's not overwhelming. How does it feel to be a hipster? Does it hurt? And where can I get the procedure done? It actually hurts quite a bit, and usually how the procedure goes is they lay you down in a giant pour-over coffee carafe, and they just pour the hot water and coffee until it drips all over you. Also, you have to be wearing flannel. What advice do you have for small creators who lack motivation? This is huge. This happens all the time, not just for small creators, but for large creators. And especially when there starts to be money involved, it is sometimes really hard to be motivated to make things in a creative way. You'll still be pumping stuff out, but you're not going to be really excited about it. And I think the best way to stay motivated is to be excited about it. And the best way to continue to be excited about making content is change stuff up once you start to get bored with it. I mean, I think this year I have evolved tremendously as a content creator, and I'm still trying to find the different ways for me to kind of, you know, branch off and make different kinds of content. Guilty pleasure show.
Kiss, kiss, fall in love.
What's your next goal now that you've hit 100,000 subscribers? I think the next thing I really want to do is I want to branch off and make different kind of content. And I don't think it's going to be totally unrelated to kind of the stuff I'm doing now, but it's going to be in small baby steps to kind of do something unique and new with what I'm doing. I really, really want to do a vlog documentary thing in the style of my videos. I don't want to really say exactly what, because I don't, when I have ideas like this, I hate it when somebody else does it before I do. But it's going to be an evolution of my content, and my content's always going to evolve. It's not going to radically change. So it's going to be in sort of like small steps for the evolution of it. I mean, like me doing physical games over just video games is that's like a small evolution, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. So yeah, I want to continue to grow and evolve my content. Will you get a mountain melt with me? I will always be down to get a mountain melt. If you don't know what a mountain melt is, there is this chain on the East Coast called Miller's Ale House. And Miller's Ale House serves this thing that's like a bed of fries, topped with cheese, topped with bacon, topped with their brand of chicken tenders called the Zingers, topped with like chives and cheese and onions and whatever sauce you want. It is disgusting, but it is wonderful. So I will always be down to get that, as long as I've worked out that day and as long as I'm drunk. If you could only play one game series for the rest of your life, which one would you choose? I think I would have to choose Pokemon, and not necessarily because it is my favorite series, but just because, well, one, there's a wide variety of spin-off games that all play differently than the main series. Two, I feel like Pokemon is going to be here for a while, so I will constantly have new games to play. And finally, there's a lot of tedious things to do in Pokemon. I mean, when I think about completing the Pokédex, when I think about doing EV and IV training, and when I think about catching shiny Pokemon, I know there is enough to do in the games to keep me busy forever. Favorite book of all time and why? I had a lot of favorite questions, and it's really hard for me to narrow down something and determine that it is my favorite. But a book that I try to recommend to all creative people is Robert Rodriguez's Rebel Without a Crew. It is a journal he kept while trying to make his film that he made for $7,000, El Mariachi, and he goes through how he found funding for it, to the making of it, to selling it to the studios, and it is phenomenally motivating for anybody who's doing anything creative. Are you going to review Digimon Frontier? I had so many people asking this. Yes, I am going to review Digimon Frontier. After Digimon Frontier, I might take a small break from doing Digimon anime, talk about some of the games a little bit, maybe watch some other animes to do videos about, but I'm most likely going to do every single Digimon anime even after Frontier at some point. What's the most hipster thing about you? I am building my own coffee bar in my apartment. Absolutely, that is the most hipster thing about me. Hello, I was wondering if you've ever played Digimon World for the PlayStation 1. If you did, what did you think about it? If not, please try it out one day. Other shows you'd want to do episodes for? Yes, I really want to dive into Sailor Moon. What is your process when making a video? It's different for every single video. Let's talk about one of the Digimon ones because those are the more involved ones and those are usually a little bit longer, so there's a couple more steps to it. I usually try to start watching the show about a month before I'm going to do my review, and while I'm watching it, I'm taking notes, I'm writing down episode numbers so I remember things, and I am just getting together all of my thoughts. And then I might make a couple other videos while I'm watching it. About a week before the video starts, I write an outline. And then I will take that outline and I'll write my initial script. And my initial script is usually like 5,000 words for the Digimon video. And I know that 33,000 words is about 20 minutes of content. And so I always try to get it just below 3,000 words. And so I usually try to keep my videos just under 20 minutes now at the most. And I will obviously do stuff longer than that when I have to. This isn't a strict guideline. This is just something I try my best to get to. But if I can't cut anymore, then I'll usually keep going. So after I write the first draft, which is 5,000 words, I will go through everything and pick out what is really relevant to my opinion. Because there's a lot of times where people will tell me that I forgot to talk about a certain thing. And a lot of the times it's not that I forgot to talk about it, it's that I had nothing to say about it. It didn't change my opinion. It didn't do anything to affect my opinion about the piece I'm talking about. So it's something doesn't contribute to my overall opinion of the piece I'm talking about, then it gets cut out. And so after I do that, I get the final version of the script. And usually if my videos go up on Thursday, I try to record Wednesday morning. And I will first edit all of my audio. So I'll get all the different audio takes that I'm going to use, and I'll put those together. And then after I do that, usually by Thursday night, the Wednesday night, the final thing I do is I put all the footage specifically from the thing I'm talking about onto the timeline, and I'll make sure that's done by Wednesday night. Go to sleep, wake up super early Thursday morning, and I will edit the rest. And usually what that is I put in the music, I put in sound effects, I download commercials, I download extra footage from other things that needs to go in there, and I put it all together. And then usually this is like 1:30 in the afternoon. I will sit down in front of the camera after I've edited all of my audio, and I'll determine what I want to say in front of the camera. And I will sit down and say specific lines that I have already recorded on my microphone, and I will say them over camera, and then I will replace the audio I laid down before with my face on camera. And usually I determine what part of the video is going to be me after I edit all of the audio. And then finally, as I'm kind of putting all the footage in, I will mark certain audio takes I didn't like, and I will retake them and re-record them. And sometimes like you'll hear stuff like this. And so I always make sure I will re-record anything. If there's a pop sound, I did it for my last few videos, but that's irrelevant. And then I usually export my video by like 3:30. The video is supposed to go up at 4:30, and while the video is exporting, I will make the thumbnail. And yeah, so usually I am done making the thumbnail and the video by like 4:29. And the video goes up at 4:30. What's your favorite video made by yourself? This changes all the time. For a long time, it was my Godzilla video. Now I can't stand that video. Then it became my Animal Crossing video. That one's slightly more tolerable. Right now, it is my Neopets video. I think my Neopets video really put me on the track that I am now, and it's kind of what I'm following my footsteps in, if that makes sense. I think there were a lot of funny jokes in that video. I think there was a lot of interesting information about that in that video. And I think it reminded a lot of people about Neopets. And also I think that was the first video I started using the AIM sound effects in. And I know a lot of people appreciated that. So I think it's Neopets because that's the first video that I really feel like was distinctly my own style. And so it has become my favorite. So thank you all for asking these questions. This was incredibly fun. I always want to find an excuse to do kind of an unscripted vlog style video. So thank you for permitting me to do this by asking me questions. It was super fun. I am completely overwhelmed by the fact that I have reached this milestone. I'm like grateful to you guys, and a lot of YouTubers just say that and you don't really believe it when you hear it, but being in the position I am now, I totally believe it now. It is so surreal to have a large audience that is willing to listen to you. Yeah, my life has changed because of this, and it's great. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you for continuing to watch. Thank you for asking me questions. Well, I want to connect with you guys more and more and more. And so I've had a Patreon exclusive Discord for a while, and I've talked to my patrons about this on that Discord, that I am now only going to be having patron exclusive channels. So I am going to link the Discord below, and anybody can join now. So it's going to be an open public thing. I want you guys there. I want you guys talking. It's going to be fun. Also, I opened a P.O. box. It is in the description down below. If you want to send me fan mail, if you want to send me stuff you want me to review, please do it. And I will be posting to my Twitter and Instagram when I get stuff and kind of filming my reaction. If you guys send me a letter, I'll read out certain parts and react to it on like IGTV or Twitter. So it's just, I want to find more ways to connect, and I want to find more ways to do kind of candid, unscripted things like this. And so connecting with me on all those platforms will obviously help that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, all 100,000 plus of you. I will see you next week.